Him being a NFL vet, man, he's just teaching me the game. He's helping me catch up, because he sees that I have the potential to play, and so he's just pouring into me as much as I can. And I just ask questions and I try to learn and be a sponge as much as I can, and receive what they're telling me, because they know the best. They've been playing the game for a long time.
Development is has just been off the charts gritty. Some of the people I've talked to, pro type with a high floor and excellent blocker. Again, over 500, 600 snaps with zero holding penalties.
This is one of my favorite quotes from an executive on a player during our process this year, where he said, "Everyone is chasing the Deebo Samuel model. Usually those guys, when I'm looking at them and everybody's trying to make that Deebo comp, Steve, they're not great route runners and they don't have wide receiver traits."
Yep.
Guess what?
This
guy does.
This is the exact kind of report that should have Steelers fans paying attention before the hype gets too loud. Steelers Depot had Mark Kaboly talking about Jeremy Bernard as a rookie Aaron Rodgers could latch onto and trust right away, and that is not a normal thing to say about a young receiver when Rodgers is the quarterback. That is the whole story right there. Rodgers is not some quarterback who is just going to throw the ball because you were drafted high. He is not handing out targets because your college tape was fun. With him, you better be sharp, you better be detailed, you better be where the play says you are supposed to be, and when that ball comes your way, you better finish the job. That is why this Bernard report matters so much. Kaboly basically pointed to the maturity, the timing, the reliability, and the fact that Bernard already looks like somebody who understands the assignment, not just physically, mentally. That is the part that changes everything. Because when you talk about a rookie receiver getting on the field early, everybody wants to talk about speed, size, verticals, highlight catches, all that stuff. And do not get me wrong, Bernard has plenty of ability. But with Rodgers, the first thing is trust. Can you line up right? Can you process the coverage? Can you settle in the open window? Can you break when the quarterback expects you to break? Can you make the catch without turning a clean play into a problem? That is where Bernard already separates himself from a lot of rookie wide receivers. He is not walking into Pittsburgh as some raw project who needs 2 full seasons before he knows how to play real football. He is 6'1", 206 pounds, 22 years old, a second-round pick, and the Steelers did not just wait around and hope he fell into their lap. They went up to number 47 to get him. That matters. Teams do not move up for players they think are just depth pieces. They move up because the board is telling them something. The tape is telling them something. The character is telling them something. The fit is telling them something. And with Bernard, the fit makes too much sense. You already have DK Metcalf as the big monster outside. You already have Michael Pittman Jr. as another grown man receiver who can win through contact and give this offense size. But that third receiver spot is sitting there wide open, and Bernard has the exact kind of game that can make a quarterback like Rodgers keep looking his way. He does not have to be the loudest name in the room. He does not have to be the guy screaming for targets. He just has to be dependable. And that is why this report hits different. Because when Rodgers starts trusting a receiver, that is not a small thing. That becomes third down targets. That becomes 2-minute drill snaps. That becomes option looks, quick hitters, red zone timing, and plays where the quarterback already knows where he wants to go before the defense even realizes it. Bernard is not being talked about like a rookie who is just surviving. He is being talked about like a rookie who gets it. There is a difference. Some rookies look athletic, but the quarterback has to drag them through every little detail. Bernard sounds like the opposite. He sounds like the guy who shows up prepared, understands why the play is designed a certain way, and gives the quarterback a clean picture. That is how you get on the field with Rodgers. That is how a young receiver stops being a maybe and starts becoming part of the plan. And for a Steelers offense that needs rhythm, spacing, cleaner answers, and somebody who can make Rodgers comfortable right away, that is massive. Pittsburgh does not need Bernard to act like a savior. They need him to be the rookie who plays like he belongs, catches the ball when it comes, blocks like a Steeler, and gives this offense one more trustworthy answer. That is exactly why the report should have fans excited. And the reason Bernard feels different is because the college resume already shows a player who earned everything the hard way. This was not some receiver who had one cute season because the offense fed him empty targets. He went through Michigan State, Washington, and Alabama, kept climbing, kept adapting, and by the time he got to the biggest stage in the SEC, he became the leader of Alabama's receiver room. That is a real football background. In 2025, Alabama trusted him with the kind of responsibility you do not just hand out to anybody. He led the Crimson Tide with 64 catches and 862 receiving yards, finished with 7 receiving touchdowns, and added enough versatility to end the year with 9 total touchdowns. That is production, but it is also trust. Alabama used him like a real weapon, not just a sideline receiver waiting for perfect looks. They put him in motion. They got him touches near the line of scrimmage. They let him work the middle. They used him in big moments. They even gave him carries, and he turned 18 rushing attempts into 101 yards with 2 scores on the ground. That tells you a lot about how coaches viewed him. You do not give those touches to a player you do not trust with the ball, the timing, and the decision-making. He was also named a Biletnikoff Award semifinalist, which matters because that award is not about being a random college receiver with a couple nice plays. That is national recognition for being one of the best pass catchers in the country, and the game-by-game stuff makes it even better. Against Florida State, he opened the season with 8 catches for 146 yards. Against Wisconsin, he scored twice, once through the air and once on the ground. Against South Carolina, he caught the late touchdown that tied the game, and then hit them with the game-winning rushing touchdown with just over 30 seconds left. That is not stat padding. That is clutch football. That is a player with the ball in his hands. When everything tightens up and everybody in the stadium knows one mistake can lose it, then you go back to 2024, and he had already stepped into Alabama as a transfer from Washington and immediately became a starter. He led Alabama that year, too, with 50 catches for 794 yards, averaged 15.9 yards per catch, and put together a 111-yard game against Auburn, where he converted 6 first downs. So this is not a guy who just got hot late. This is a player who went from one program to another, then to another, and kept proving that the moment was never too big. At Washington, he played in 14 of 15 games, started 7, caught 34 passes for 419 yards, returned kicks and punts, and still found ways to contribute as one of their more useful offensive pieces on a team that went all the way to the national title game. At Michigan State, even as a young player, he showed flashes with 7 catches for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Put the whole thing together, and you get 155 career catches, 2,203 receiving yards, 13 receiving touchdowns, 36 carries for 184 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 16 kickoff returns for 352 yards, and even 3 completed passes for 29 yards. That is the part I love. The Steelers did not draft a one-trick receiver. They drafted a football player, a receiver who has been moved around, asked to adjust, asked to grow, asked to win in different offenses, and every time the responsibility got bigger, he handled it. You can sell that to a veteran quarterback. You can sell that to an offensive staff trying to win right now. You can sell that to a team that cannot afford to waste snaps on somebody who looks confused every time the defense rotates late. Bernard has been in different buildings, learned different systems, played with different quarterbacks, and still found a way to become useful everywhere he went. That matters in Pittsburgh because this is not a rebuilding offense trying to baby everybody. This is a team trying to win games with Rodgers right now. That is why the Rodgers trust angle is not fake hype. The production tells you he can play. The usage tells you coaches trusted him. The clutch moments tell you he does not shrink. Now, when you get into the actual Steelers fit, this is where Bernard starts looking like one of those Picks fans might fall in love with fast. He is not being sold as some cartoon version of a receiver who is only here to run straight down the field and hope somebody misses. His game is built for real NFL downs. Steelers Depot's scouting report had him at 4.48 in the 40-yard dash with a 1.52 10-yard split, 6.713 cone, a 4.31 short shuttle, a 10'5" broad jump, and a 32.5-inch vertical. Those numbers tell you he has enough speed, enough burst, enough short area movement, and enough explosiveness to function in a pro offense without needing everything manufactured for him. But the best part is not even the testing. The best part is the way he plays. The report praised his frame, play strength, contact balance after the catch, ability to bounce off the first tackler, strong hands in traffic, comfort inside and outside, willingness as a blocker, and the fact that he understands how to find space against zone coverage. That is a Steelers receiver. That is not finesse football. That is not just pretty combine stuff. That is a guy who can catch a slant, take contact, fall forward, move the chains, block for the run game, and give the quarterback an easy answer when the play has to stay on schedule. And with Rodgers, that is everything because Rodgers is not going to need Bernard to be a superstar on day one. He needs him to be right landmark, right depth, right adjustment, right finish. That is how a rookie earns a veteran quarterback's trust. The Steelers have had too many offenses where everything felt difficult, every drive felt like a grind, and every third down felt like the whole season was sitting on one throw. Bernard gives them a different type of piece. He can be the quiet problem, the guy defenses forget about because they are shaded toward Metcalf, worried about Pittman, thinking about the run game, and then all of a sudden Bernard is sitting in the soft spot, turning his shoulders, catching the ball clean, and making 2nd and 8 turn into 1st and 10. That is how offenses grow up. It is not always the 60-yard bomb. Sometimes it is the receiver who keeps the quarterback calm and keeps the chains moving. That is why this pick feels so smart. Bernard brings enough size to hold up, enough quickness to separate, enough toughness to play in Pittsburgh, and enough versatility to give Mike McCarthy real answers. He can play outside, he can slide inside, he can be used on motion, he can take a manufactured touch, he can block, he can win over the middle, he can be the young receiver who does not make Rodgers want to lose his mind. And that last part is not a joke. That might be the whole key, because if Rodgers trusts him early, Bernard is not just competing for a depth spot anymore. He is competing to become part of the actual weekly plan. That means real snaps, real targets, real third down work, and a real chance to be one of the steals of this Steelers rookie class. I am not saying he has to walk in and be a Pro Bowler immediately. I am saying the ingredients are there for him to matter way faster than people expected. Polished college player, SEC production, big game moments, special teams background, strong hands, tough after the catch, smart enough to handle different roles, and now he gets to learn with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football. That is a perfect setup. A rookie like this can make a coordinator braver. It opens up formations. It lets you move pieces around without tipping the whole play before the snap. It gives Rodgers another trustworthy target when the defense forces the ball away from the stars. Bernard does not need fake hype. The report gave you the headline, the resume backs it up, and the fit makes it dangerous. If he keeps stacking days, this rookie could go from nice second-round pick to the young receiver Rodgers actually leans on when the Steelers need a play.